Module 1: Historical and Cultural Value Criteria for Recipe Preservation. Content for digital material. Characteristics of a recipe. The objective of this presentation is to explore the characteristics of a ritual recipe, namely location identification and description, geographical context, cultural origin, cultural context, and rituals, both cultural or religious, recipe history, and storytelling and curiosities and symbolic value for local communities. As ritual recipes are intrinsic to culture and cultural practices, it is an intangible heritage. As intangible heritage, it is an expression of human relationship with nature, with sense of place, and with historical sceneries. It is of great value to maintain the original forms and recipes for ritual food, since it constitutes an important identity element of the communities. In this context, UNESCO reinformed the importance of safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. Ritual food practices involving food preparation and consumption are fundamentally rooted in religious beliefs. Rituals celebrate and establish special moments in the memory of those involved and of the community in general. They are distinguished by the repetition of previously known gestures and words. Most are cyclical and by their meaning transmitted successfully between generations. Ritual storytelling, whether religious or profane, thus underline the identity and belonging of a community to a social and cultural context. In their diversity, the gastronomic traditions reflect numerous rituals to be preserved, not only with regard to the preparation of food, but also to its consumption. Ritual recipes associated with celebrations and festive moments constitute an important identity of local communities. They represent local history and traditions associated with the endogenous products that exist there, and they also have a dimension of memory and affection that guarantee their preservation over time, being transmitted over successful generations. For example, the gastronomy associated with Christmas, which, despite its diversity depending on the region, preserves many of its characteristics due to the association with the values of memory, identity, and originality. The relationship between ritual food and its history seems an unremarkable fact. The history behind a ritual food is rich, starting from the origin of a recipe and occasions people cook this cuisine. The ritual food is deeply connected to stories and history. In this context, storytelling is a way to promote the tourist potential of destinations, in the sense that it helps tourists to connect with the destination in a sensorial way, enabling a closer relationship with the community and the local culture. The tourist becomes a storyteller when reporting relevant aspects of the destination to other people, developing curiosity and knowledge. The geographical origin can contribute to a recipe's identification as a traditional recipe, as it represents a specific region. This is often evident in the recipe designation. Gastronomy emphasizes the regions, its attributes, and cultural circumstances. The use of endogenous products contributes to the development of the local economy and also promotes feelings of identity in the community, making them active and collaborative agents in the process of preserving local heritage, namely gastronomy. Example, Papas de Carolo. It is a typical sweet from the central region of Portugal, in Barrow Interior, which was offered to São Sebastião to fight the locust plague that existed at the time. Thus, as the crops were not devoured by the locusts, the inhabitants decided every year, every third Sunday in January, to offer the sweet. There is even a procession in which the women take the sweets placed in baskets and the men and children distribute them among the people. It is similar to rice pudding, but it is made with corn instead of rice due to the abundance of corn at the time. Authenticity is an important characteristic when we talk about heritage and culture. Tourists and visitors appreciate diversity and yet original and diverse cultural elements. Therefore, authenticity, originality, and diversity are drivers for tourists and gastronomic destinations. There is particular interest in traditional gastronomy that symbolizes the local habits and the local distinguished products, with an expected quality available from the local purchase that is also more sustainable. Authenticity linked with quality affects tourist satisfaction and loyalty. The art of cooking evolved according to human tradition and history and has different characteristics in each culture. Kitchen utensils also register changes, facilitating and streamlining some tasks. However, tradition preserves some cooking instruments to maintain some of the essential characteristics like the taste. In Portugal, for example, the use of clay containers in the making of many traditional recipes stands out in our days. 3 dimensions of food heritage: legacy, people, and place. The people dimension represents a specific local group of people that has specific knowledge about the food origins and its uniqueness, as well as cultural characteristics. The dimension place refers to a particular destination in which the ingredients for food are produced locally. Globalization has placed gastronomic heritage in international cultural and touristic agendas in which tourists look for original flavors and experiences worldwide, in places where culture determines the difference. On the other hand, globalization brings enormous risks to gastronomic heritage that has an impact on the standardization, services, and consumption habits. To recognize food and culinary as heritage that should be safeguarded and promoted, it is an important challenge for local communities to preserve their identity and to ensure that this knowledge passes from generation to generation through time.